Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm super excited for this video because I picked up the Morphe 35I Icy Fantasy palette. I thought it was a really beautiful color scheme. I love pastels and it was only $25, so I thought I'd go ahead and give it a chance, especially because I've had decent luck with Morphe palettes recently. Whenever I got it in person, I kind of questioned myself a little bit because originally I thought that this palette was 25 shades, not 35 shades. I was not paying enough attention when I purchased it. And there's also one pressed glitter, which I did not realize. I was kind of thinking maybe it was a pressed glitter, but I mean, I guess 1 out of 35 shades isn't that horrible. But anyways, we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to swatch the entire palette out for y'all. We're just going to see how it goes, and then I'm going to do an eye look and just give you my first impression thoughts. I was really hoping that the palette would be this packaging. Whenever I saw the box, I was like, wow, that is so beautiful. Like, I feel like this packaging in itself is just inspiring. So when I pulled it out, I was very happy and relieved. I mean, I put it all the way back because I'm a mess, and I took Instagram pictures and did the whole thing. I was relieved to see that the inside is that same packaging, which is super pretty. I love that it's not just the plain black and it stands out. So here is what the palette looks like. So there's definitely a lot of really beautiful tones. There's some pastels, there's some more grungier neutrals, and shimmers all look really beautiful. I love that there are like 3 different inner corner really light, no 4 inner corner really light iridescent shades. You could probably use that one too, or that one if you have a deeper skin tone. So I thought that those looked really nice. There are names, but there's so many and it's on a sheet, so it's just like, what's the point? I'm excited to swatch it, especially I think this shade right here is the one I'm most drawn to. It just looks so pretty. I did go ahead and pull out like a pastel light shirt. I mean, it looks kind of funny pulling out my sleeve right there, so that I could be matchy, but I'm really cold, so we're gonna save that for the end. But let's just go ahead and jump on into some swatches. I feel like I'm looking at this palette and the layout and trying to find a pattern to decide how to swatch it, but it feels like the colors are kind of all over the place. Like there's some warm tones here, there's some green here, there's purple and blue here. But I think my best bet is to go ahead and do swatches up and down by row, just because I feel like those somewhat have color stories going on. I don't know. There's so many colors, I'm overwhelmed, but I'm going to make sure to leave timestamps. So we're going to start off, we've got a really basic white matte, which actually has pretty good pigmentation. And then we've got this white kind of shimmery, glittery, it has a topper feel to it. It kind of, the texture reminds me of the one purpley pink palette that they did. They had like the whole middle row of toppers. And then we've got a tan matte. Oh, that's pretty. We've got a soft pink shimmer, rude, a taupey matte, and then a light yellow shimmer, which looks really pretty as well. I love light yellows like that. Alright, next we got another sparkly topper type shade, except this one seems to have kind of a purpley bluey shift, and again it has that like really creamy slick kind of feel to it. A light orange matte, and then a really intense pink topper shade. Again, it feels very slick. I don't know if you can tell, just it feels like a cream powder, honestly. How pretty is that? Like, do you see the sparkles? I really love seeing more sparkly, interesting shades in mainstream palettes. It makes me very happy. Alright, so next we have a lighter, just very neutral shimmer. And then we've got a light green matte, and then more of a chartreuse green matte. Those feel a little bit powdery. The mattes do, at least. And then we have an orange, kind of peachy shimmer. That's actually really pretty. Kind of has a nice vibrancy to it. A rosy matte. And like a taupey purple satin. Alright, so those are the first 3 rows. Alright, next we have like a mint, really light shade, really light shimmer, and then, this one is kind of in between a regular shimmer and a topper, but it's a very like icy light green. I really, really like that color. And then we've got another satiny green. Then we have this one, which is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I couldn't even see that before I swatched it. It's a green, but I don't know if you guys can tell. Do you see that? It has like a pink shift in it. It's green and blue and pink. Wow. And it's that like really, really soft formula. So pretty. And we've got a purple, satin, and another like light beigey shade. This one just has a little bit more pink. I feel like that's slightly unnecessary to have that many light shades, but who am I? Alright, next we have a pastel teal shade. Seems to have decent pigmentation. And then a satiny light icy blue, and then another really, really intense glittery shade. This one has more of like green and gold flecks in it, but it's that really, really slick feeling. This matte here reminds me of one of my favorite shades in the Creepy Cute palette from Shroud Cosmetics, which is my favorite pastel palette. Alright, last but not least for these two rows, I'm going to go ahead and do the pressed glitter and then wipe it all off. I'm slightly nervous, but to be fair, I feel like I've used a pressed glitter from Morphe before, and they seem to have a really good binder in them. Like, I don't know if you can tell, like nothing is falling down, and it kind of has, it almost feels a little bit oily, but it's good. It's not like a chunky pressed glitter that's getting everywhere. It has some decent hold on it. I mean, I would still use a glitter glue if I were me using this shade, although I probably will never use it. It feels decent. Definitely not the worst pressed glitter formula I've ever felt. So there's the next two rows all swatched out. Alrighty, so jumping into the last two rows, first we have a true just regular shimmer shade, and it seems to have a little bit of a pink tone to it. It's definitely not the softest shade ever. And then we've got a light blue pastel matte, which is super, super pretty. And then a gray matte. I'm going to do another swatch of that gray. Alright, next we've got kind of a darker gray matte, which feels super, super creamy. And then a shimmery gunmetal shade and a light purple shimmer. That purple's really pretty. I feel like my arm feels a little bit irritated from all the swatches I've wiped off already. I know it wasn't that much, but it's winter and my skin is dying. And next we have a really bright purple matte. Really like the undertone of that, and then a little bit of a, actually it kind of looks darker in the pan, but it looks to be more of like a gray purple, a very interesting color. I'll be back. Gotta love that my oil heater turned on when I had 2 shades left to swatch, so I've just been sitting here for 5 minutes with shades all over my arm. But we've got this bright, well, actually kind of not bright but not muted, just kind of in between purple shimmer, which that actually looks really pretty. It has a little bit of a blue shift to it, and then a darker metallic blackberry-ish type shade. So there are the last 2 rows swatched out. I feel like it looks pretty, but I don't really have a huge opinion. I feel like everything's swatched okay, but with pastels, it's really just going to be how they blend on the lid. Alright, so I already went ahead and primed my eyes with the Anastasia eye primer. I finally washed and organized all my brushes, and tell me that this is not like blending brush heaven. Love it. Alright, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start off with this lighter green right here, that greeny yellow. And I'm going to place that into the front half of my lid crease area and just kind of fluff it out. I feel like I just went in with a regular primer just to see how this would do. It might do better with a white eyeshadow base just because they are pastels, and that's normally how they work best. But I feel like most people would want to know if they'll work fine on their own without that added step. Which I feel like this has like a level of brightness to it. It looks okay. It's not fluffing off yet. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take the... I think I'm going to take this matte right here. Again, just using that same big fluffy brush, and I'm going to pop that onto the middle of my lid. Just kind of fluffing it out. I'm just going to kind of tap it down a little bit more. I feel like if you have a deeper skin tone, these might be a little bit questionable. They're pretty light. So I am just kind of patting and then blending to get the most out of the color, but they are very, very light. Alright, so now I think I'm going to go ahead and take this blue one with that same brush, and I'm going to... I feel like you can probably tell the shadows are pretty kickbacky. I'm going to pull that one onto the outer third, the outer V, just kind of blend, not being too precise. Ooh, at first I was thinking maybe I was going to do something where I like followed this color scheme all the way around, but maybe I'll do like a whole pastel rainbow. That could be fun. So again, I'm just kind of patting it down and then blending out, and I feel like it's blending pretty well. You can kind of see the creases in my lid where I should have tapped out the eye primer more, but that's fine because I'm going to go over with a shimmer. Again, I'm just tapping and then blending out, and I feel like it's blending okay. It's not patching off. It's just pretty light. I feel like if you do have a deeper skin tone, you might be more happy with the Shroud Cosmetics Creepy Cute palette just because they are pastels, but I feel like they still have like a really good pigmentation and some intensity to them, whereas this is very, very baby type colors. Alright, so I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to... What am I going to do? I think I'm going to take some of... Actually, I'm going to take some more of that blue and start that off on the lower lash line. Just going to use like a really tiny blending brush just to connect what's happening on the lid to the lower lash line. Just like this. Nothing too crazy. Oh my gosh, I just remembered I'm taking my little sister to her piano lessons today. I don't look crazy at all. For those who say, do you actually wear these looks out of the house? Yes. Yes, I do. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take just a tiny little pencil brush, and I'm going to grab this purple here, and I'm going to concentrate that right on the lash line. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and take this pinky shade right here. I'm going to pop that in the middle. I'm trying to figure out how to fit the pink and the orange. Yeah, I think I'm just going to kind of keep building that pink up, and then I'll pop the orange right here. Call it a day. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take this orange, and I'm going to pop that onto the innermost part of the lower lash line. Such a pretty color. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe that brush off just to get as much of the color off as I can, although I just wiped it on a wet wipe, so it is a little wet now. And I think I'm going to go ahead and, I'm kind of torn. Maybe I'll take this inner corner shade here just because it does have a little bit of a pink shift to it. See, that one's probably the least intense of all of them, but it does have a nice little shift going on. It just has to kind of be worked into the brush to be picked up. So I feel like at this point you could leave the lid as it is, as just mattes. I mean, I think it looks pretty. You could go in with any of those lighter shades on the lid. I think that would be a really pretty topper moment, but I really want to go in with that like lighter multi-chrome-y green shade because it looks so beautiful. I can't help myself. I'm just gonna build this up. I don't know why I'm doing the inner corner before I'm doing the lid. Don't know. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this shade right here just because it is so stunning, and I'm just gonna pop a little bit on my finger. Cannot get over that shift, and then I'm just gonna tap that onto the lid. So I feel like just tapping it on like that kind of dispersed the glitter, or the, not glitter, the sparkles, and it looks really pretty. I'm curious to see how that shadow would look on top of a glitter glue. But for right now, I'm really happy with how that looks. So I'm going to go ahead quickly and let me see, do I have any pastel colored liners? I have a lavender. I'm going to go ahead and take this shade, actually I think it's called Lilac from Ardency Inn, throw that in my waterline, throw on some mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright, so to finish off this look, I'm going to go ahead and take the Lethal Cosmetics highlighter in the shade Ionic. Just going to lightly blend that on the tops of my cheekbones. And then for my lips, I'm going to go ahead and take the e.l.f. Nude Kiss Lip Oil. Alright y'all, so this is the finished look using the palette, and I do really like how it turned out. I feel like it's been a really long time since I did kind of more of a pastel-y rainbow type look, or a rainbow look, or a pastel look in general, so I think it looks really pretty. I like the finished look. I'm a little bit hesitant about this palette because for when I just feel like I need to test it out more, there's so much more I want to do with this in order to give my full like rounded opinion. I also really want to do some research and find some people of deeper skin tones using this palette, and I'll try and link some down below just because I'm a little bit nervous to recommend this for skin tones that aren't light because I just don't know how much these shades are gonna truly show up because they are very light, and sometimes that can just be the nature of pastels. Like I said, you can use a white base. Sometimes if they're good you can manipulate them, but it just depends on the shadow. So I'm gonna do some research. I feel like there's a good balance of tones here. There's some really interesting topper shades which are so beautiful, especially the one I used all over my lid today. I mean, I just kind of dabbed it on, but I feel like the full effect of that is going to be so pretty. I could definitely see pulling that in with something like maybe like my Juicy Olive palette from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. I think would be a really pretty shade with those greens. I also really appreciate how many different inner corner type shades there are here. I feel like they're all so beautiful, especially this yellow. I really like that tone here as well. I feel like you don't see a really light true yellow very often. I'd love to know if any of y'all picked up this palette and what you're thinking of it. I did see that it's available on Ulta now, which I appreciate. So that's pretty much everything for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them down below for me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.